Late afternoon slowly settled over the street. Dry leaves scratched the asphalt in the light wind, and a warm glow escaped through the windows. Behind a thin curtain, a boy watched everything in silence. He was new there, just arrived. And even though the street was full of life, he didn't dare open the door. He only watched. Always watched. That was when a little girl appeared at the end of the sidewalk. Small steps, determined. She carried something in her hands, with far too much care for it to be ordinary. She stopped in front of the boy's house, looked around, placed the object on the ground right in front of the door, and left without ringing the bell, without calling out, without waiting. Minutes later, the boy opened the door just enough to peek outside. There was a small box, on top of it a folded piece of paper, and inside a cupcake, simple, homemade. A single word, written in a child's handwriting: welcome. Nothing more. The boy's name was Ethan. He was 8 years old and carried a shyness that followed him everywhere. Ethan was deaf, and that made him even more insecure. The move to that street hadn't been celebrated. Too many boxes, too many goodbyes. Tired parents, dark circles under their eyes, and whispered conversations in the kitchen, as if the world might break if they spoke too loudly. Ethan watched everything closely. Lips moving, incomplete gestures, emotions he learned to read on people's faces because not everyone learned how to speak to him. At his old school, he had learned early how to make himself small, not to interrupt, not to try, not to draw attention to what made him different. So when he arrived at the new house, he did what he knew best. He stayed inside, while the children on the street ran, shouted, invented worlds along the curb. Ethan watched it all from the window. He knew exactly who was good with a ball, who always fell first, who was in charge of the group, but no one knew who he was. The street saw him as just another closed window, just another quiet house, and Ethan believed that maybe it was better that way, because opening the door meant explaining himself, and explaining hurt. When he saw the cupcake on the ground, his first impulse wasn't joy, it was confusion. Who would do something like that, without asking for anything in return, without demanding a response? He held the note carefully, as if he might tear the moment. Welcome. It was the first time since the move that someone seemed to speak directly to him. Even without sound, even without knowing who he was. That night, the cupcake remained untouched on the kitchen table. Ethan didn't have the courage to eat it, not out of distrust, but because something so simple felt too important to rush. From time to time, he touched the folded paper, as if afraid it might disappear. 2 words, and a strange warmth in his chest. The next day, the street woke up as always. Bicycles creaking, doors slamming, laughter spreading through the air, uninvited. Ethan watched everything from the same place as always, behind the glass. The cupcake was now put away, but the message still pulsed inside him. Then he saw her again. The little girl walked along the sidewalk, tracing imaginary lines with the tip of her sneaker, a calm manner of someone who didn't need to be noticed to exist. She stopped in front of Ethan's house, looked up at the window, and this time she raised her hand and knocked on the door. Once, twice. Ethan froze. His heart raced even in the silence. His hands grew sweaty. The old fear came rushing back in full, not understanding, not being understood, being seen as strange. He took a few steps back, stood still. The girl didn't knock again, didn't insist. She just waited. Then, gathering all the courage he had, Ethan took a deep breath and opened the door. The girl smiled, an open smile without excessive curiosity, without pity. She said something he didn't hear, but read on her lips. "Did you like the cupcake?" Ethan froze. He couldn't answer, couldn't move, couldn't even breathe properly. Her smile shifted slightly. It became gentle. "Are you okay?" Ethan nodded. She smiled again. "So, want to play?" Then she pointed to the street where the other children ran, laughed, lived. It was a kind invitation. No pressure, no urgency. Ethan swallowed hard. With trembling hands, he replied in sign language, "Thank you, but I think it's better not to." He was sure she wouldn't understand, that she would give a polite wave and walk away, but to his surprise, the girl smiled even more and replied in the same sign language, "Yes, let's go. I'm sure you'll like it." At that moment, something opened inside Ethan, a shy joy, almost frightening, bigger than anything he had ever felt. Ethan took a few seconds to respond, not because he didn't want to, but because, for the first time, he wanted to believe. He took one step outside the house, then another. The sidewalk felt different beneath his feet, as if the world were closer than ever before. The girl waited beside him, unhurried. Ethan brought his hands to his chest and made a simple, careful gesture. He said his name in sign language. The girl repeated it, with attention, with respect. Then she made the same gesture and said, "My name is Lily." They smiled. The other children, curious, came closer. There were no difficult questions, no strange looks. The girl explained with gestures, with patience, with ease. And suddenly, Ethan was there, in the middle of the street, participating. They played simple games, they ran, they laughed. That night, Ethan went home tired, with a warm face, with a full heart. And with each passing day, Ethan felt happier and more like he belonged. The street learned something without realizing it. That kindness can change someone's life. That inclusion begins with a small gesture. That listening is also looking, waiting, respecting. Sometimes, all it takes is someone saying welcome the right way, for a heart to find the courage to step out into the world. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone you love, and join us here at Hearth Tales, a place where stories warm the soul, one at a time.